So welcome, Sean. Thank you so much for coming in and having a chat with me about this Becoming TreeWise course that you were the first cohort of persons to come through. So I really, really appreciate you giving your time to come in today and kind of share your thoughts and experiences about it. I suppose one of my first questions is actually I'm going to go with the flow. Well, the first question that really comes up into my mind is how has it impacted your life? Now it's what, a month, 6 weeks since we finished. So
Yeah.
how's what kind of impact has it left for you?
So for me, it was all about sovereignty. That was like the main takeaway that started right at the beginning of the course. And that has just flowed and just got bigger and bigger and bigger. And I realized this like can stand in my own power now without being, I'm not saying it's perfect because you still get challenged because, that's what we're here to be challenged, aren't we? But in a sense, what the challenge brings is it shows me how far I've come with it. And also, if I do get challenged, it doesn't take days to recover. It's more a day or even half a day or even, oh, just let go of that. Do you know what I mean? So it really brings into the awareness your old patterns, where you get triggered and how to, how to notice them, witness them, and let them go in a much smoother journey, really. It doesn't have to be so painful, if that makes sense.
Mm. Oh, how beautiful to kind of see that landing for you, and that is one of that's Elder really speaking strongly there, isn't it? Coming through, well, the whole map is about an empowerment process. So to hear you speak that you feel much more sovereign in yourself is just delicious. Thank you
Yeah, it
so
just
much.
feels delicious. You're welcome. Thank you. Yeah, beautiful.
Well, how did it feel to be brought into communication with the trees? And
Well,
how was the process for you to be brought into communication with the trees?
I love trees anyway, and I've sort of been like a tree whisperer for a very long time, or just communicating with them. And I had a very beautiful relationship with a yew tree in my park at the end of my road in London. And it was like a portal, Claire, that you could literally walk into. I'm getting goosebumps talking about it. And I could never sit on that chair anymore because once the portal was created, children were drawn to it to play in that area and people would sit in front of it. So it was a very healing portal. And that was like the first time I'd sort of experienced the magic of trees, really, and in a very palpable way. Um, and when I moved from London, I think my grief was about the trees. I really missed my beautiful trees because I'd known them for a very long time. So trees have always been well, not always, but definitely since 2020 when the lockdown happened, they became a very big, important part of my life. And an ally that were honest and truthful. So it's like if I was stressed, I'd go and sit in the park and I would get restored after about 20 minutes of sitting in the trees. Um, so when I saw, so someone who I do the Gaia tree calling with me told me about your course. And I thought, oh, that's so exciting. Somebody where I'm living that I can connect to and communicate with about trees in a very real, you know, human person to person way. So yeah, so that's how I was drawn. And then being on your land on that very first day, I really felt it was just magic. So it was just very magical. And I felt very held. It was like, so there was the holding of your course, but then there was the bigger holding. And it just felt like the land and the trees were holding us to process something very beautiful. Yeah.
That processing, that's something very beautiful. What do you tell me more about what you mean? What was the process?
Ah, so I think in a sense it was like it connected me to my sorry, I feel quite emotional to my grandfather, my Auntie Nellie particularly. who were my guardian angels when I was little, and childhood was not straightforward. So the willow and the hawthorn, the willow is my grandfather, the hawthorn is my Auntie Nellie. So I felt that they were on your land and they were helping me process some quite deep ancestral wounding that has been tricky to get hold of. So it made me feel safe. And also, like the end of the course with the oak and the yew tree, it was almost like that was building the completion. So the opening was with the ancestors, and the completion was also with the ancestors, but it felt like we'd gone through a process of maturity. So healing the childhood wounding and then taking us up to a point of being, I think we've spent an awful long time in our adolescence. So now it's like, it's time for us to be grown up and adult. So it felt like at the ending, that's what it felt like. It's like, uh, now it's time to be an adult in the world. We've given you these beautiful gifts. We are the tree guardians who are going to support you. But now it's time for you to be in your adult. And um, so that was a beautiful gift, really. So it felt like, going through a big healing process, but also like a maturing process as well.
Oh, interesting. And yeah, often they call themselves the grandparents, don't they, the trees? So that kind of nurturing, holding place. And wonderful to hear that they were healing. I know this, of course, but to know that it was healing for you in that way is really beautiful to hear, and that the trees were embodying your guardian angels is just wonderful. Um, really love
Yeah.
that. Mm.
Yeah, and I don't normally cry, so I found crying really difficult, but it was very hard not to cry at the end of the course because I felt like I'd been seen and I'd been heard and witnessed and held. So that was very beautiful. Actually, that is very beautiful.
Mm. Thank you so much for sharing that, and brings me joy into my heart, and bolsters me on to carry on bringing this work. And how was it being here on this land? How is the land here for you? What is it? 'Cause obviously the course will be held here. So what would you like to share about the particulars of the land here?
So I think when I arrived on the course, because I wasn't expecting anything, I was carrying this great big heavy bag, which was probably my past. And yet people were, they wanted to help. Do you know what I mean? So I felt, oh, I can let down my guard a little bit. So I think your land has that, like a landing. It's sort of like people can let down their guard a little bit. They can actually, you know, the land is it felt like the land was holding me. And when I was sort of down by the willow tree in the very beginning, and then walking up, and it's like also I feel on your land, it's also connected to the weather. So it's connected to the sun and it's connected to the rain and it's connected to the birds. So it sort of feels like there's an elemental quality that
Mm,
runs through your land that actually is deeply nourishing. Um, and I wanted to sing. So I move. So it's bringing in the voice and the movement as well, but naturally. It's like it was a very um, natural unwinding, if that makes sense.
winding. Beautiful, beautiful. And yeah, and it's interesting you say that we have the river at the bottom, and then we have rivers underwater as well. There's lots of water coming from the Preseli underground. And the bird song, of course, is absolutely amazing, particularly this time of year. So it's really interesting that you pick those particular things out. And of course, the weather, we have all extremes here. Today it's sunny, and we've had gales and rain and storms and frost. all of those things. Oh, I've just and if you were to tell someone else about this course, what might you say?
Well, I would definitely recommend it. And the reason why I would recommend it is because we are in such turbulent times that everybody can easily get caught up in the maelstrom of the news, what's happening, and forget about their sovereign self, really. So it feels like during the course, you automatically connect with your tree ancestors. So they keep you steady as you go. And it's like I've just done a big piece of house clearing with someone, making their home a temple. And I have got my tree ancestor in my portal because I wanted them to be part of it. And I wanted them bringing their energy. And it worked. It sort of brought in the tree guardians into her home. So I'm getting very hot now. And so it's like, so to me, it's it's connecting to Gaia, but it's also connecting to your tree guardians. And we need all the help we can get at the moment. And this is just a very gentle, sovereign way of connecting with like-minded people who love the trees like you do. But also, it gives you this beautiful gift and it takes away stuff that you don't need anymore. So you become more, what's the word for it? Like centered, sort of centered and not so buffeted
Mm.
about, if that makes sense. Because I think sometimes we can be very sensitive. I know I'm very sensitive. So I need strong guardians around me to make sure that I don't get buffeted about by the world, really. So
Mm.
um,
Beautiful, because they very much call themselves the guardians. Um, and part of it is about rooting into life. So to really for you to kind of have those pillars of being able to face the storm is beautiful. And I'm so happy that 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 gift is being brought through the trees, and so very lucky and honoured to be a conduit for it. So I'm delighted. I really am delighted. Um, and if you were to talk about the tree map specifically, what might you say about that?
so I think what's very beautiful about your work, Claire, is it can either be public or it can be um, an inner, like an inner journey. So if you have stuff that maybe you don't want to mention out loud, what happens when you stand on those tree maps? They give you your inner guidance and they release your inner journey. So you still have everyone around you, but you don't actually have to share it if you don't want to. Do you know what I mean? So it gives you a choice, really.
Mm,
But the medicine is powerful and it's on point and it's accurate, and it sort of what's interesting is coming to all the different ones is that each time it brings in a different piece of the puzzle. So it starts gentle, and then it's sort of when you're ready for the next step, it sort of gives you another piece. So it's a bit like refining the constellation. So it's not like you don't have to eat the whole elephant all in one go. It's gentle and it sort of gives you what you're able to gives you the next step in a very gentle and beautiful way, really. Um,
it's a lovely way to view it and see it. Um, so interesting seeing it through other people's eyes. So this is really fascinating for me to hear you speak about this. And how is it to? It's an energetic map. So how is it different to do? do you still feel the kind of trees, even though it's a kind of energetic portal, if you like, an energetic map rather than a physical, literal connection to the trees?
Oh, very much so. Yeah. I mean, I remember when I first took the elder home,
In the
I
essence,
was, no, not the essence, just the picture.
oh, the picture, yeah.
It was like so healing. It's like I went on a journey with that picture and I had it in my journal. I'd sort of meditate with it every day. It was just like really. So I think because I actually did that piece of work with Elder particularly, it felt like it had a very strong imprint on my journey with the trees. Um, so I don't think it matters whether you connect with a real tree or whether it's the energetic tree. It still gives you the same healing medicine you
Mm,
need.
mm, fantastic. So that would, in that way, it could be a useful tool. You don't actually have to be out in nature and by trees, because not everyone, if you live in an urban space, not always that easy to find a yew tree or a beech tree necessarily. So really encouraging to know that you actually found that it worked just as potently. Um, fantastic. And got a question around how you felt, whether as me as a host and me as a guide, how how was that for you?
I found you very welcoming. Like I've never met you before. I never met anyone before. So when I just thought, oh, this is a really very gentle soul that I can feel at home with. So that I think that's what my first impressions was. And but I also feel you're very humble and you're very gentle and you have a lot of integrity. So you bring that into the work. So it's not like, I've worked with people who are the big I am, do you know what I mean? It's sort of, and it's all about them, but you're not like that at all. It's sort of, it's like you're like a gentle, I don't know, we used to do, I worked with children with eating disorders, and there are all these archetypes, and there's the one which is called the dolphin. And the dolphin is the archetype that swims alongside and sort of, and guides you. And I feel you have the qualities of that, really, which is really nice. So,
Oh, I've never been called akin to a dolphin. That's rather lovely. Saw a dolphin the other day. Um,
oh,
well,
fabulous. Up around Cardigan, was it?
yeah, yeah, really,
Yeah.
yeah. I love seeing them, and somewhere else. Yeah, I often just spot them. I just see them at, just like, oh, look, dolphins. So yeah, I'm on the spot out for them along the coast here, which yeah, and yeah, they're amazing creatures. So I'm very honoured to be likened to a dolphin. I,
Well, it's true. It's like
yeah.
it's part of your essence. Do you mean it's sort of, you're not like I can't remember all the other ones now, but I know one is like a rhinoceros, and then there's another one called an ostrich. It's sort of like, so it's like all these different archetypes that you can be, but the best archetype is the dolphin because then you're not, you're just flowing alongside and you're guiding gently and nudging in the directions that you need to be nudged in. So.
Fantastic. And I'm just curious now, just a question's risen in my head. If I were to be a tree, what tree would you liken me to?
Wow, that's interesting. Now, the things that come to me, the two trees that come to me most is the oak came first and then the beech. So I think it's like, so I think it's also, the male and the female. It's like honoring the divine feminine and the sacred masculine and bringing those two into alignment. But yeah, but if, that's me putting my spin on it. But the trees that came through automatically was the beech and the oak.
Mm.
I also feel that it was also like the ancestors telling me to come home. So it is a bit like a homecoming, really.
Oh, beautiful. That's so beautiful. Oh,
Yeah.
thank you so much, Sean. Um, is there anything else that you'd like to share before we draw to a close?
I wrote some notes, so let me just check to make sure. Not that I've actually done anything from my notes, it's just been quite spontaneous. Yeah, I suppose beautiful sovereign process. Claire is a humble, hu- Claire's humble humanity and integrity took me on a journey of discovery into my sovereignty with confidence and love, with strength and finding my inner joy and mischief and wisdom, to be resilient and resilience and realizing um, the held grief that I had. I felt safe to express the held grief and finding community in a real down to earth sense. So that was sort of what I wrote this morning before we started, but I did answer quite spontaneously. So
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. And may your journey to sovereignty continue.
thank you. Yeah, I've been healing up my male side, my right side. So it's been a really important journey for that. So thank you.
You're more than welcome.